connection. Aha! That's more like it. Let me adjust us here. There we go.
We in the shot. We're in the shot.
We're in the shot. I want to make sure our microphones are working too, because
Well, you have to test the equipment.
well, it's the first time we're splitting mics. I know this guy's working.
Can you hear JD? If you can, let us know.
Oh, I guess I should say something to make sure.
You know, it's as if he's never made a video before. And if you can hear me,
Yeah.
let us know.
First time on YouTube.
1, 2, 3,
so
trains. Lionel,
Sid says
it's awesome.
Sid says he can hear us both.
Okay, well that's good.
And if Sid says he can hear us both, then we have the approval.
So I wanted to start with like a whole bit, but I just couldn't figure it out. Here's me and Jason tonight out eating tacos, thinking that we were going to beat the traffic, beat
Yes.
the rush. We get there, 10-minute wait, not bad.
Which turned into about 15-minute wait.
And then a party of like 35 people was ahead of us.
Yeah, so our meal probably took about 2 hours.
So we got back here and it was a mad dash. But after 5 seconds of me programming the only legacy engine here tonight, and about 15 minutes of Jason getting the MTH engines ready, we're ready to go.
This guy does not help my case at all with the whole Lionel versus MTH thing. I'm not so
I love both.
Okay.
I really do.
So
I really
do
do.
I.
I would argue to say I probably have as many MTH engines as I do Lionel.
Okay.
But because we're at Jason's layout, I have to take the opportunity. I can't help it.
That's true. He's basically been making fun of me ever since I picked him up from the airport and he got off his plane. He's been making fun of me, whether it's for Norfolk Southern, too much Norfolk Southern equipment, or lack of Lionel legacy. But I say the same thing. I have probably more Lionel rolling stock than anything else on this layout. Well, it's just the engines. I lack the engines right now.
And you're right, because I was able to look, and for those of you who've been watching Jason's channel forever, this layout does all kinds of wizardry things. Like the trains disappear and they go under the layout. So of course I had to go check that out because mine doesn't do anything half that cool. And sure enough, it's like there's a plethora of orange under the table. I was like, that's where it's hiding.
Exactly. If you look at the boxes under the table, it's like a wall of orange. I keep trying to tell people I'm not anti-Lionel. I love Lionel. I need to be pushed over the legacy edge, which if you watch the live stream on RJ's channel, you would have seen. I think I might be finally buying my first legacy engine.
Well, that's all speculation at this point.
Yeah, it's a pretty big definite maybe.
And while I'm feeling really good about it, we still have a year to wait?
Oh yeah, it's going to be at least a year, if not longer.
So I'm thinking like maybe around Christmas of 2022, we'll have to refocus our efforts on seeing what's going to be under JD's Christmas tree.
Unless just something else pops up that I just can't live without. It's possible. It is possible.
So who's in the chat?
Well, there's 158 people watching so far.
Thank you.
And
awesome.
a lot of comments, and it's really hard to keep up with all of them. So I will do my best to read some of the people here who are here. We have Devin McKenzie, always recognize him being in here. Brian Rock Rail fan, Sparky, 72 Blazer, Old Frail and Decrepit. That's a good name right there. RJ is one of our moderators. Creative. Thank you, RJ. Oh, is someone coming down the stairs right now? Oh, it's a fan favorite. Henry just entered the room, so you might see him in the background.
I think he's going to grab my mic cord and run off with it.
Yeah. Old Ohio Angler. Burnsy's in here. Burnsy's telling me to join the dark side of Legacy.
Well, and then Burnsy has a whole bunch of things on your layout that he wants me to somehow put on the airplane back home.
Yeah.
I told him I'll try my best, but
if it's
going to be an odd trip through TSA that way.
Yeah, if it's modern and TTX, I think he's trying to snag it off my layout.
Burnsy's O-scale trains. He's also known as the Pensy guy. So, if it's Pennsylvania Railroad, it's probably on Burnsy's layout.
Yeah. We've got Randy Jacobs. I always recognize Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Randy's name in there. DNH 2906. Slide Cat. Always see Slide Cat in here. Brian Rock Rail Fan, Carl Miles, Gray's O Gauge Railroad, Elk River Trains, Jacob Robinson, and that's just the most recent. We've got,
Oh, that's a
boy,
big backlog.
We've got a big backlog of people.
We need like a
so,
screen, like a interactive, like I need like a, you know, like a weather person where it's like
you know, we're learning. We're learning.
figuring it out as we go.
Our friends GFW, they've got it figured out.
They do.
They've got a
Yeah, Wally and
screen.
George. If either of you are on here, like I said, I tried to learn your magic when we were at the York show.
Yeah.
They had this big RV. I mean, you talked about it. I
Mm-hmm.
talked about it, but they still wouldn't give me all the tricks. So I'm going to have to go to Chicago and see it for myself.
Yeah, well, GFW Trains, you need to pay a visit here in Detroit. Teach me your tricks for streaming, and so we can, you know, be as good as you. But Van Rail, I see Robert Campbell's in here.
Hey, Bob.
Again, there's.
Awesome.
All right, I'm going to go back to the live comments if I can.
Yeah, we'll keep that going. So a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Here's
Oh,
Henry.
that's Henry. You want to pick him up and show him to the world?
So this is Jason's dog, Henry. It's probably one of the sweetest
Yeah.
dogs I've ever
Well,
met in my life.
Shelby's dog and now my dog. So.
Okay. Well, yes.
Yes, hi Henry. He's a sweet puppy.
So Henry also likes Lionel trains.
He likes Chris too, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, we hit it off great. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. What's really great, so I flew in this weekend. This was 3 times in the making.
Yes.
It got canceled 2 other times, so I finally made it. And got in yesterday. We beelined straight out to the Detroit 3 Railers meet, which was great. Meeting those
Yes.
guys. They have some really great stuff. They got a lot of big layouts and a lot of insight. And it's just neat being here in Detroit and learning so much about everybody here is in like steel, automotive. It's really cool.
Yeah. Motor City for a reason.
Yes.
It still lives up to its name after all these years.
And then, of course, today, you know, we got up and head out to Stockyard Express,
Yes.
which is Jason's.
I have always been a fan of Stockyard Express. I've talked about them on my channel. I've reviewed their custom runs, and I've taken you guys through walkthroughs. So I've hyped it up quite a bit. And Chris decided it was time that he
was.
finally paid a visit. So we took a nice long day trip.
We really did. Yeah, it was like it was like 2.5 hours or so to get down there,
Yeah.
but it was worth it because when I see Jason's layout, I can see where the vision came from. You know, we're like watching these sweeping trains like riding down the road.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, the whole way down from Detroit, and then especially when you get into Ohio, you've got the Norfolk Southern Chicago line, which is the ex-New York Central line. You're a big New York Central fan. And now all that stuff's owned by Norfolk Southern, and you just see train after train after train. And you're right. When you look at those trains go by and you look at the stuff I model, it's like, duh, of course that's what Jason likes. So that was fun.
So I can sympathize a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting there. We're working on it.
Yeah, we went to Stockyard. We didn't buy a single thing.
That place was incredible. That was a ton of inventory. Met some folks there too. So if you were at Stockyard and we saw you today, that was great to meet you all.
Yeah.
It's literally part of a farm.
It is. It's a dairy farm. You get out of the car and it.
Do they sell like ice cream in the summer? That would be great.
They sell beef. They have a beef barn. So
beef is
if you arrive at one of the largest train stores in the country, and yet you get out of the car and they're saying, "Are you here for the trains, or are you here to pick up some beef?" So, you know, it definitely, and it smells like it too. I'll tell you that. But it's such a big store. I've been to many, and
Yes,
there's
it's massive.
still. It's a reason that so many people flock to this barn in the middle of nowhere. Huge inventory.
People were getting some great things today. People walking out with some big engines and some sets. So yeah, if you're ever in Ohio, in Oberlin, Ohio, check that out.
Yes.
Awesome store.
And RJ, one of our moderators, commented he still needs to get out there to see it. So,
Well,
some of
RJ,
my close friends, RJ, man,
there's nothing holding you back.
you haven't been there. You need to come out this way, man. It's happening in Detroit.
There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah, you got people saying good things about Stockyard Express in here.
Yeah.
But, Chris's Trains and Things. Chris, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, tacos before a live stream. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Well, Chris wasn't even drinking. I might have had a couple margaritas. So,
Well, someone had to drive home.
oh yeah, exactly. Oh man, Justin P says you guys really didn't buy anything for that drive.
You know,
If you could,
just keep watching.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
yeah, maybe you didn't catch on to my sarcasm there, but that's okay. Yeah, Chris says Stockyard is great, and we're up to 215 people watching now.
Oh, fantastic. Live from Detroit. It's Saturday night.
Yeah, more exciting than Saturday Night Live.
I didn't have quite a punchline, but you know, it's gonna be a
No.
lot of trains.
the whole night, that might be the theme. We don't necessarily have a punchline for the things we're doing. We're just kind of we got back from dinner and we were like, oh, we got a live stream to put on. So we're just kind of winging it and having some fun. But do you want to talk about, what do you want to go into first? Do you want to talk about the train behind you, or do you want to talk about a few other things first?
So yeah, obviously when you fly out, it's not easy to fly with a train. So thank you to Train Mandan. If you've ever checked out Train Mandan on YouTube, they have an awesome collection. Usually if something new comes out, you'll see it on Train Mandan's channel. Well, they were kind enough to lend me, I don't know if you can see it over my shoulder.
Oh yeah, lean back to your left a little bit.
We do have a Lionel Legacy engine here this evening. It is the Union Pacific Heritage Unit for the Katy. So, I mean, it was instant. I think we knew if we could get an engine in our hands, it had to be that one. I said I had two requests when I came out here. Find me an engine that is not Norfolk Southern, and preferably Lionel. So just because we have to run something Lionel on Jason's layout, and the reason that's such a joke is because he has the technology and the equipment, just no engines.
Yeah.
So if those of you keep wondering why this joke keeps coming up, a lot of folks have been trying to peer pressure Jason into taking the plunge.
That's putting it mildly.
So we will be running this engine on the layout tonight, along with all of Jason's other massive trains that he has, because they are all huge. Like, for those of you who have seen my channel, we run a lot of different things, a lot of smaller semi-scale sets. Like, some of these cars won't even fit on my layout. So it's really fun to get to experience those at literal scale. I mean, it's not like he has like 6 auto racks or 6 intermodal cars. There's like 50 plus of these things running around on this layout.
Yeah,
So it's really
I had you get a feel for how heavy that intermodal train, all those die-cast Atlas intermodal cars, that's a heavy train.
It is.
I've got 4 engines on there for a reason. But I did that on purpose. I knew he was coming, and I knew he teased me about Norfolk Southern, so I put as much Norfolk Southern on the layout as I possibly could. So, sorry. But I also want to thank Train Mandan and his dad Greg for letting us borrow that Katy for tonight. We've already fired it up once, and it's been fun to have it run around the layout. What did you observe about my Legacy remote? Speaking of someone who doesn't have any Legacy engines yet.
So yeah, for those of you who are not aware of what this is a Lionel Legacy Cab 2.
What?
A lot of conversation about Cab 2. It's, it may be old news for many of us. It's new news for Jason. And of course, now the Cab 3 is coming out. So by the time Jason is ready to use this, he'll be pairing it up to a brand new base.
I'm still figuring out how to use this thing.
But this is factory mint condition. I've never seen a Legacy remote in such pristine shape. I mean, I'm almost afraid to put the first fingerprints on the screen. I mean, this is as crispy as it gets.
Well,
What do you have, like the factory batteries in here?
close.
Oh no, they're not.
No,
quite.
I was smart enough to swap those out. But
But
it is a mint remote.
Yeah, like the rubber sides of this over time, they get kind of gnarly. I mean, a lot of you who have these might notice that. Like yours is, I mean, this is great.
Well, since it's so nice and pristine, should I jump on the bandwagon of trying to sell mine?
$12,000.
Yeah, $2,000 takes her home. They don't make them anymore. It's rare, so get it now. Rare,
Everything
rare,
in
rare.
O-Gauge is rare.
Yeah.
So no, it's really great. I'm glad that we get to. It's firing up perfectly. Engine's loaded up, ready to go. So we're going to be in great shape for that.
And we got 230 watching now. Tom Rogers from Hamilton, Ontario. So we've gone international. Thanks, Tom. We've got Canada chiming in. We've got O-Scale every day. Ozark Midland. How you doing, buddy? Justin P. The Rambles is here. Nice to see you chiming in. Stephen Williams. I'm recognizing a lot of names and some names that I haven't seen before. So thanks everyone for tuning in to see whatever the heck we decide to do tonight.
Yeah, for some reason my eyes can't focus in on that, so I'm checking messages here too.
Yeah, I'm running the computer. He's got his phone.
Don't worry. I'm just making sure we're not missing stuff. Oh, the Matt O-Scale podcast. Yes, we are.
Oh yeah, Matt and Matt. How you doing?
Great catalog review friends. A lot of friends over there. Matt and Johnny.
Yep.
MM and J. And then, I see something here. Someone was saying.
Someone's asking
I missed something.
Someone's asking if I'm going to go see your layout sometime.
Yes. Well, eventually. We're going to get you out there.
Eventually.
Someone asked, do I have a Facebook? No, but I have an Instagram. So if you are on Instagram, that is the best way to connect.
And I feel like if you follow me on YouTube, I don't know how you don't follow this guy. Because, I mean, he's like one of the hottest guys in O-Gauge YouTube right now. So if you don't follow RBP Trains,
And with that, stream over.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about this the other day. When I was first getting started in my collecting, which is really, I've only really been hardcore collecting, like enthusiast level collecting for maybe 10 years. And Jason's videos were always a part of that for me, right? I was always watching Jason's videos, and Eric, when you think about the number of YouTubers that are out there today, there's a lot. There's a lot of them today.
Which is great.
And watching it grow, I think that's why the popularity is increasing. The sales seem to be going up.
Henry,
There's
stop
a
licking
lot-
the trains.
Oh, so Jason's dog is over here. He's licking an Amtrak.
Don't give me that look.
You have the wireless mic, so you're going to have to take care
Oh
of
yeah,
him.
I got him.
I'm going to continue my
Yeah,
inspiration.
continue about YouTube inspiration.
I'm going to tell Jason how great he is. That's the punchline of this whole
Yeah,
thing.
continue with that
So-
story.
So listen, I think last year, a lot of us, who were struggling through the last couple of years, I used YouTube as a way to get out and talk to people and get to meet people. And Jason's channel was a big part of that for me. I was like, there's been a lot of times where I would sit down and I was working on my layout and watching Jason's stuff. It was when you first got your big boy, when you were first marking this layout off on the floor, watching you when you had your old layout. So it just really inspired me to start my own channel. And it's funny because, where's this magazine?
Oh.
The way that I was able to finally get a hold of Jason was thanks to this article that was written about his layout in Classic Toy Trains. So this is his original layout. Obviously not the one that's here, because it would be
bare plywood.
You could write an article on what's happening here, but this one had all the pretty scenery and all kinds of stuff. But I'm actually going to be in next month's or the next issue of Classic Toy Trains, and the articles take like a year to make. It takes a long time.
Yes.
And
I think mine was a year and a half, to be honest with you, before it was done.
And when I was contacted, I was so excited about it that I rushed and got all my scenery done, and then I had met Jason through a Discord chat, and I remember I was that guy. I was just like, at JDstucks, can I talk to you? At JDstucks, can I talk to you? I am going to be in CTT. And I think you thought I was just like a spammer. And in reality, I wanted to know, how did you take your photos? What did you do? Because right now, we're really taking our own photos and providing them, right? And so that was a really neat learning experience. I know you went through it.
Yes, I was just getting done with it. It was maybe right when my article was coming out, I think. You reached out to me at the perfect time, and it was a long process. Henry, stop itching yourself. We're trying to do a live stream here. It was a long process to have that article done. A lot of people have asked me, how'd you get into CTT? And I think part of it is a word of mouth kind of a thing. Some people will share your YouTube channel or some pictures that they've seen with the editors over at Classic Toy Trains. And I think doing the article and the initial, I guess, write-up for the article is kind of the easy part, but it's the photos that become challenging. Even me, I've taken pictures of my layout, you've taken pictures of your layout, but to bring something from the layout onto print and make it look good for everybody who's flipping through it, it's a challenge. You're taking a lot of retakes, you have to get the lighting right, and if your quality isn't up to snuff with what they need on a big printed page, and I wasn't even living in Ohio. I think every time
driving back and forth to get the photo.
Every time Roger Karp needed a change, which, hey, I love you, Roger, but every time they needed a change, it was like, oh, get back in the car and drive 2.5 hours to Ohio and retake all these photos again. But it was also probably one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in this hobby, to finally get that done and to see your layout printed on and to be on the cover, which yours is going to be as well. Like, so many of us grew up reading these magazines, and I'm no different, and we watch videos and we get all these sources of inspiration, and then to be a person who's on it, it's like, oh my gosh, like, talk about coming full circle. Like, the reality of it really hits you. So it's something to be really proud of, and I know your article is going to be awesome.
It's a very humbling process going through it, because I think everybody on here who has their own collection and who's been doing this would think, I know exactly all the best scenes on my layout. I know how it would look. And that's what I did, right? My brother came over, and he's a photographer by trade, and he's helping me frame these things out. We send them in, and the feedback was, your picture quality is great, but your composition is too busy. You have too many trains. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh, they want us to tell stories through the scenes. And the way you tell the story is, you focus on a piece at a time. And it was about 4 or 5 different submissions of pictures for me. I
Yeah.
think it was the same for you.
Absolutely.
And at the end, you really learn how to take a picture of a model train.
Oh yeah, and you learn a lot about what's going through the artistic mind of these editors. I mean, I had a picture that I swear was like the most beautiful, perfect picture I've ever taken, and I think the reply was like, I see you have a red car on the right side of that frame. Could that red car maybe be blue? And I'm like, I don't have a blue car. And like, no, and it needs to be you have a steam engine. That's really a 1960s style car. Can you get something that's error correct and more colorful? And now I'm running to the store and I'm getting a blue, but it makes sense once
Right.
when you really get critical and you understand what these guys are looking for and what readers are going to be drawn to. You
Right.
get why they're so
There's a reason they've been doing this
critical.
for a long time, and
Yes.
we have not. So
Yes,
yes,
they
that's-
are the professionals. We are lucky enough, honestly, and to be in this magazine. So.
Let's take a look at the comments. Are we missing questions?
Oh, I'm sure we're
I'm
missing.
gonna let Jason highlight a couple comments here because I know
I'm sure
we
we're
are
missing 100 questions. A lot of people can't wait for the Cab 3 remote.
Yeah, the Cap 3 is going to be cool. It's going to be different, but I think all of us are in it together, so we can all provide feedback, right? It's going to be something different.
Someone asked what's the longest train we're running tonight.
Well, that's
and-
all. You tell them that.
Oh, I think I kind of shortened some of the trains so we could double up on a few loops, but I think this mixed freight is probably like 24 cars or so.
Your layout is how long again?
33 feet long.
So 33 feet long. So if you see my channel, my layout is 27 feet. So we're going an extra 6 feet, which in O gauge is a big deal because you need to pack every single foot out of your room. Like when I walked into this basement yesterday when I got here, I think my jaw just about hit the floor when I looked and it went wall to wall because I'm not able to go wall to wall on mine, but also just there's a lot of depth in here. And I think when we see these layouts on video, they look big. Then you see them in person, and if you watch the, my wife was laughing because Jason made that funny teaser of this live stream. At one point, he's laying face down on his layout, and she noticed that he's completely planked and stretched out.
Yeah.
She's like, "Is that how big this table is?"
On an upper level.
And I was like, "Sweetheart, that's just one part of the layout."
Yeah.
So it was really something to see the massive size. So you can get some long trains in here.
Yeah.
I'm quite envious of how long you get those trains running.
We do have some questions. Someone wants to know if we're going to April York.
I'm not sure yet. I might try to get up there. I think Dad's watching. Dad, you need to get up there with me this year. So I just called you out on the internet.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to April because it's a pretty long drive from here. I mean, you had to fly out here from Maryland. It's a whole day's trip for me to get out there. So
Right.
I'm
pretty
kind of-
local to York.
Yeah, I'm on the October schedule. I'd say that's when I plan on going and making the most out of it. But you might swing by there.
Yeah, I may. So, October, we tend to get a little bit more representation from vendors. It's a little bit bigger of a show. But I think April will be well attended too, just now that we are in more of a regular cadence of these things.
Yeah, I was impressed by the attendance in October. So
Yeah.
I hope that continues. A general question for this layout was what grade do I use between the levels?
That's a good question.
And to get to the upper level, because in case you don't know, you can get from this level to the upper level, which is about a 7.5 inch difference. It's not about, it's exactly 7.5 inches. And it's about a 2.5% grade, which is very manageable for any of my trains to pull 20, 30 cars up. And to the lower level, it actually gets as steep as about 3.5%, which some people might say, whoa, that's too much. But everything I throw up and down that grade, including the big boy, makes it no problem. It doesn't struggle. It doesn't pull too many amps. So I'd say 3.5% is pushing it, but it's still safe. But
And I can attest because we've been running stuff all afternoon
yes,
and nothing struggles. I mean, it's very well thought out.
yeah. Oh, money shot right behind Jason. We got a nice camera setup right here. You bring this guy in, he sets up the camera, and suddenly the whole layout looks better. Like, man, I'm learning all this guy's secrets. Remind people where you're from, because not everybody knows where you're
So
located.
I'm an East Coast guy. So a lot of people thought that I was from Strasburg, and our good friend Chris from Chris's Trains and Things lives local to Strasburg. It's kind of neat. He can jog right by 611 when it's doing its excursions. But I'm south. I'm down in the Maryland area. That's where I am.
Ryan Harner, who we met from Detroit Three Railers last night,
Yes.
our favorite NS conductor. Ryan, we saw a bunch of NS engines today, and
Were you on one?
everyone we saw, we were like, "That's probably Ryan. That's probably Ryan. That's probably Ryan." He wants. Where's his question? Oh, he says we need to go to Spring York. Ryan, you can go to York.
Well, Ryan, if you're there, I'll stop by and say hi.
Yeah, tell him to spend some money.
You got to tell me some more of your NS stories. You know, here's Jason saying, "I wonder if Ryan's on that train," and then here's me saying, "I wonder if Hobo Shoestring is in one of those Rangers."
Yeah. You brought. I think if I had to take a shot for every time you brought up Hobo Shoestring today, I would not be doing the stream. I think that's your favorite. That seems to be your favorite YouTube channel.
Well, listen, I have this dream that I'm one day going to be able to collaborate with Hobo Shoestring. Like, I want him to come sign one of my box cars. So, next time he rides into Hagerstown or something, pop off. We'll pick you up.
Tell people what Hobo Shoestring does.
So Hobo Shoestring, if you've never seen Hobo
We do not
Shoestring-
endorse it, but
Right. So this guy, he has a YouTube channel, and he hops on freight trains and rides around the country. So I can say no more about it other than that. But he does give a lot of great history and a lot of geography on how the lines operate, and a lot of information that if you are a railroad enthusiast, it's actually kind of neat. He explains how couplers and ground air works. Some of these things that you don't even think about, and it's just because he's been doing this all of his life. So it's kind of a neat, fun channel to watch.
Yeah. Well, there's 262 watching at this point, and a lot of people commenting and chiming in. I'm scrolling back to see if I can find any specific questions.
Yeah,
but
if we're missing your question, just post it again until
yeah,
Jason sees it.
because again, I'm trying to keep up with these, but
It's all
you
good.
know how live streams are. You're talking, and we haven't even started running trains yet.
We have not.
And we've got like 7 trains queued up to
There's a
run
lot.
tonight.
So let's go over the roster of what's
Oh
on
yeah,
this
yeah,
layout.
yeah.
So
Take us through it.
it's all Norfolk Southern, and then the Katy. So no, I kid. So what's neat is we got a lot of big lash ups. I mean, we have what's here? We have SD70s. We have
Yep.
some F units up at the top. The OCS set, which is inspiring Jason's potential Lionel purchase.
Yeah, that's why it's here.
We have a gen set in the back. It's not running, but it's sitting there.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have a nickel plate road steamer right here.
We have some
So,
steam.
I always like when you have your nickel plate road.
I can maybe we'll swap something out. We'll see.
And then we have another string of Norfolk Southern diesel engines pulling this intermodal train.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Nice, pretty green and white Southern on the front of it.
Yeah, that one is nice on point.
Do you want to talk about the other little guy that's hiding back there, or
We do
want
have
to get to
we
that?
do have something that's also kind of nifty.
I think it's nifty.
Where is it?
It's right behind. It's right below.
I don't
the
think
Katy.
I don't think I can walk back there. So I don't have the wireless mic.
Oh,
either.
I can go get it.
So you're gonna have to go grab
Yeah.
this cool little engine.
I
Now,
will.
this is an engine that is really interesting, especially on this layout when you're looking at all these big diesels. And it is an engine that MTH cataloged a couple years ago, and it's a 44 tonner. So this engine is going to make its way, hopefully, back through airport security with me. Hopefully it doesn't get confiscated. We'll have to see. If you're part of the TSA and you're watching this, can you confirm if I can take this through airport security?
Ooh, yeah.
That would be really good
I'm
to know.
friends with all those pilots. I need to text one of them.
Yeah, you do. But this is really cool because not only does it have like dual motors and it's small and compact, it really can pull some serious cars. And we're going to test that. We're actually going to do a video here before I go
Yes.
home and see if it can pull, or how many cars it can pull on Jason's layout.
Yeah.
And for those who may have smaller layouts, like I have elevated loops that have 036 curves, this engine is perfect for that. And this is a premier engine. So this is like a premium piece. It's kind of holding it up as I can. And it is, of course, Chesapeake in Ohio. So
And that thing's got 2 motors in it, right?
it does. It
so I think that could pull most of these trains. It might get pretty hot, but I think it can do it.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
It's going to be great. But again, that's going to be on an upcoming video. We're not going to test that tonight because we don't want to deal with any catastrophic issues.
Yeah, but I mean, besides Chris's visit, we'll have some other videos that will come out.
Yes.
Besides our live stream, I mean, we've been busy.
Yes, we
It's
have.
been a jam-packed weekend of maximum train action.
Maximum train action.
Yeah, Detroit Three Railers last night was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, so what I liked about that, there's a really neat set that ran last night. And I'm going to feature this in the video this week. Unfortunately, I don't have B-roll on a live stream. We don't have that kind of fancy setup. But of all the things I saw, we saw a lot of modern steam, I mean, modern diesels. We saw a lot of modern, like MTH, Premier, steam, Lionel Legacy steam. But there was one gentleman there, and he actually works at the Henry Ford Museum, and he brought in this pre-war set.
Yeah, Jacob. Yeah.
And what was the most interesting thing to me was the story he was telling about it. And he walked me through the whole history. And if you don't know what pre-war Lionel is, this is the era that predates World War II. So Lionel started manufacturing in the very early 1900s. And then when World War II hit, they had to halt manufacturing. They were helping with the war efforts. So we call all the trains that were made up to that point pre-war. Pre-war is an era that doesn't get as much attention these days. I think because it's scarce, it doesn't do all the whiz-bang things that these engines do. But the stories and the heritage around it are fascinating. And what I saw was he did a museum display of like a house in the 1920s. And it was just this cozy Christmas display of a living room floor with a loop of track. And that's where these trains were running.
Yes. It looked like something straight out of, I don't know, 1920, 1930.
It really did, yeah. And that's what it was designed to look like.
Yeah.
And what I like about that is that it kind of tells the story of where the whole three-rail O-scale hobby came from. You know, the number one comment we get is, well, the number one complaint perhaps that we get is that your trains are just not realistic because they have three rails. And of course, the three rails is not a realistic look. But when you look back at where this hobby came from, they've really stuck to that origin of these families.
Yes.
Depression era time families with these kids that would just put these loops on the floor, and that was the toy to have.
Yeah.
And even though now we have modern stuff and we can make trains that look like our drive today, you know, going through Toledo and these huge trains, there's still this little reminder, that little center rail that takes us back to those times.
And it wasn't just Lionel. Ives was doing it too.
Yes.
Yeah, Lionel wasn't the only three-rail guy out there. And it makes it easier too, right, to have that center rail when it comes to wiring. We were joking about the challenges of HO, but that's another story.
Yes, for those, and I did HO as a kid with my dad, and I will tell you, it does take some incredible skill. And when I see those really technical HO layouts, my hat's off to you all, because that takes some serious dedication, wiring, and logic. It does.
Props to you. We choose to avoid that headache altogether. So, someone asked me if I've actually pre-ordered those F9s yet out of the Lionel catalog. Nope, not yet. He's still trying to convince me.
It will happen.
Quite a few people are trying to convince me still. Yeah, keep sending those brain waves.
I don't have many to send.
Let's see. Someone asked how many NS Heritage units I have out of the 20. I think I have 7. I'm not going to get all 20. A lot of people ask me that. I have no interest in having all 20 of the NS Heritage units. Or,
not yet.
well,
wait till this layout's done, and then you're not.
And then I'm bored.
And then you're not in build mode anymore.
like,
Then you're going to say, I should probably go after all those NS Heritage units.
Okay, never say never.
We're never going to say never.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, look, more comments. Okay.
So what was my first Lionel O scale train?
Yeah.
So let's see. I think the first engine that was all mine was actually a gift the year that my wife and I were married at Christmas time. And it wasn't a Lionel. It was actually a K-line TMCC B&O Pacific, like a baby Pacific. I still have that engine. I actually need to bust it off the shelf and run it. It's really neat. Dad got it for me for Christmas, so I'd have my own train to run around the Christmas tree. That was really cool. That was my first actual O-scale piece that was all mine.
Yeah, my first train was the one I inherited from my dad. It's on the top, it's still on the top shelf there. It's a 1950s era train, and it's a Lionel die cast. It's got a cattle car on the Bandit car up there. I mean, you can grab that off the top there if you want. I don't think it's been in a video in a long time.
We love vintage trains.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm going to pull a vintage train into a JDstucks video.
Ooh.
This is an exclusive Saturday night stream live event. A Lionel 2016. Here, I'm going to hold it. Look.
Oh, thank you. Look.
He's holding it.
This is my first train. This is what I played with as a kid all the time. I love this thing, and it still runs. And it was my dad's, and now it's mine. And really cool. I wanted an engine with smoking steam when that was such a new thing, and I didn't have anything. But there was a guy who could modify these to add a smoking whistle, and this actually has whistle steam in it.
So you can put fluid
You
in
can
it
put
instead of the pellets, right?
Yeah, no pellets.
Right.
It never had pellets, not this one.
Oh, so he legit put a unit
This
in it.
never had a smoking whistle. So if you look in there, they installed a coil.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little chuff lever that pushes it out. I mean, and that was my Christmas gift that year.
It's very NPC looking in there.
From my parents, and it was like, oh, it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, so I guarantee that if we were to put this engine on the layout, it would probably outrun everything on here. It could probably run the entire night and never blip.
And yeah, it requires very little maintenance. Here's a nice comment from Gray Rich, said to JDstucks and RBP. He said, "You inspired me to tear down my current layout and upgrade to 072 curves. What is it in particular that you love about having 072 curves on your layout?"
You take it first and I'll take it.
I think the obvious answer is you can run the biggest engines that anybody makes. Everyone knows that 072 is the minimum for like a big boy or an Allegheny, any of the big articulated or really long diesel engines. And I remember being young, watching some of these TM books and videos, and all these guys had 072 curves or wider. And here's me with my little 036 and 042, just like, 072, that takes up so much space. I'll never have the room for that. I don't know, I'll be a old man before I can do that. Well, I guess I'm an old man now because
you made it.
Because I've got minimum 072, and that doesn't even seem wide enough some of the times. I'm going up to 099 and even wider in some of this. But it is awesome to run big boys and Alleghenies and Challengers and not worry about, are these cars going to bump into each other? Is it going to make the clearance through this tunnel? So yeah, you can run pretty much whatever you want. That's what I love about it.
It's the gateway to the big engines, right? And that's the thing, is that it also makes the smaller engines or the shorter engines look even more realistic. Because in O gauge, it can be difficult when you hit curves to make engines look more prototypical. So the wider, obviously, the better. I think I'm just saying commonsensical stuff right now, but it does. I think that for mine, only my outer line is 072. I didn't have enough space to get dual 072, but I wanted the same thing. I wanted to be able to run the largest engines. And sometimes even 072 is a stretch, especially for some of these newer passenger cars, like the long 21-inch cars. And they go around and they kind of almost kiss on the sides a little bit, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Still works out. What have we missed?
Someone asked if we're going to run any articulated engines tonight, and I don't know. I might get the big boy out because it's lined up on the track to come out.
I don't see why not. You might have to go.
I might have to.
It's in the staging yard.
I might have to do some moving around, but it's possible.
We can make it happen.
It's possible. In some of my last videos, I ran lots of steam and diesel, which a lot of people loved. I did that for about a month and a half, and then I said, oh, well, we'll go back to boring modern stuff.
I really think he just put all these on here because I was coming.
I did. I did it to upset Chris. That is exactly.
Although I'm not upset, because all trains are awesome.
Well, that's right.
Especially when they're all lashed up like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some massive lash ups.
Someone asked if we could have one prototype in your collection that we don't already have. What would it be and why?
For me, it would be probably a triplex. I don't have a triplex.
Now I don't need to talk, I guess.
There was a. Did you want one too?
Of course I want a triplex. You know this.
Yeah. So we were at Stockyard, and there was a triplex that was being repaired. And it was just blowing all that smoke around the room. And I looked at it and I was like, "Is this one for sale?" He's like, "No, this is a repair."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, well, it's awesome."
Yeah, mine's a little less boring though. Besides the triplex, and there's a few steamers out there, but I'm a little more boring. Where I want some more Conrail stuff. I have very little Conrail. I want some boring blue Conrail with my boring black Norfolk Southern stuff.
If Dakman's in the chat, he's going to come after you for calling the Conrail boring.
It's boring to everyone else. Dakman, don't hate me. I love Conrail. In fact, you should sell me some Conrail stuff because I'm trying to increase my fleet. We all know you're the Conrail guy.
He's going to hike up the price on you now.
Yeah. Let's see here. Someone asked if I installed the turntable yet. Not yet. I was going to last week, but if you watch my videos, you know, life is busy. Things get in the way, and you don't always have the 8 hours on a weekend.
A turntable install is a big job.
And it requires two people, because someone has to lift the thing up from underneath, and the other person has to secure it in place with the bolts. So I mean, that's a two-man job.
Well, and then after that, he gets to build his roundhouse. So if those of you, I think Chris's Trains and Things is in the chat tonight. If you haven't seen his roundhouse build series, he had to break it into a ton of different videos because that's how involved this thing was. He was sending us text messages of how he had to build it and construct it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a labor of love.
Oh,
and to
yeah.
anyone out there who can scratch build,
Yeah.
because I don't have that kind of talent.
It's
or time.
it's a very involved kit. I opened the box and looked at it, and it was kind of like ooh, my roundhouse arrived. Open. Nope. And just kind of closed it back up and was like, I need to prepare myself mentally to get into this. But yes, thank you to Chris from Chris's Trains and Things, because now that I've seen him document it, I feel like maybe I can do it. I've got some guidance from him.
Yeah.
And, Chris, I'm going to be relying on you, buddy.
That layout is taking some serious shape. Like, I
Yes.
think that your layouts to me are so similar yet so different. I think because of the shape, how you have these like L-shaped sweeping layouts. But yeah, if you haven't seen Chris's layout, check that thing out.
Yeah, Maddie C. Train says, RIP Jason's mental health while building that roundhouse kit.
Yes.
And I think that's accurate. And
Major-
Chris's Trains and Things is just telling me, build the roundhouse. And I'm like, yeah, it
Stop
sounds...
drinking the smoke fluid and build the roundhouse.
Wow. God, if you've ever tasted it, it's so good. Nick from PGH Train Fanatic just tuned in, and he's asking the question everyone's asking. When am I going to buy a Lionel Legacy engine?
Well, if it's been asked a couple of times this evening, and the answer is by the end of this stream.
Yeah, it might happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's just when. I think it's going to happen.
When you hit 10,000 subs.
Yeah, when I hit 10,000 subs, I'll maybe
There you
order
go.
one.
There you go.
Something like that. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
We gotta find some metric, since you work well with metrics.
Yeah, I got a guy who says he'll scratch build the kit for me. So there we go.
Oh,
For free, right? Like no charge. You'll just come and live in my basement for a few days and finish the kit. That sounds good.
Those buildings, so my dad has a scratch built building on his layout. Of course, it's from a guy who used to work at our train store locally. He was always there, Bill. And I mean, he would just make these amazing kits. It's like what Norm does with his scratch building. Like anyone who's seen these types of buildings, they look so real. And like Dad has a lot of great scenes, but that coaling tower is the scene on the layout.
Yes, love that.
And it was the only one that was scratch built like that, and it was from Bill. So.
Yeah. Someone keeps asking if I'm going to run the Norfolk and Western Heritage unit, and it's on the layout. So the answer is yes.
It's here.
I will run the Norfolk and Western Heritage unit for a little bit. I also want to give we talked about Trainman Dan earlier, letting us borrow the Katy, the Legacy SD70. He just posted a video of our little get together at the Detroit 3-Railers. So if you don't already, you should follow Trainman Dan on YouTube, and he just posted a really nice recap of our visit to the Detroit 3-Railer club layout last night, which is really nice.
Yeah, you got
a lot of fun.
You got a lot of good footage. Everything from a lot of the different sets that ran. There was also a standard gauge train there, so if you're into standard gauge trains, there's a really great high WAPA that ran.
Yeah.
You might also see somebody operating.
I operated a conventional Lionel engine.
So, well,
wow.
TMCC, but he operated it in
Yes.
mode. So it was a sight to see.
It was a big moment for me, for sure.
Moment for you.
Should we fire up some trains and get some running? Because
we should.
Believe it or not, we're like 45 minutes into this.
There's
thing
no
already.
way.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun with trains.
So if you're sick of us talking, sorry.
Of course, the first train I'm going to start up is the Heritage unit. Now, it's over my shoulder, so if we need to shift the camera around and stuff, it's going to be kind of hard, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and start that one up. So it's 70 here, and there it goes.
And
I don't. Can they hear whistles when we have these nice mics on?
they should be able to hear the whistle. Something that loud? I think so.
Oh yeah. This is an engine I really would love to have in my collection. I have the MTH version, phenomenal engine, but I would also like to have the Lionel version one of these days. All right, this one's going to roll out.
And there we go.
Here I am using a Lionel Legacy remote on JDstucks' layout. Actually, you know what? Wait, no. You make it move. Do you remember how to do it?
Yes, I remember how to do it.
Oh, good, they hear it.
Yeah, Chris said that they can hear it.
It's rolling.
I need to remember to get the Norfolk
Oh,
Southern
yeah.
OCS
All
moving
right.
though too. So I'll trade
We have
ya.
2 trains. So all right. So
But
I'll
look, I
break
got
it
a
down.
train. I got a train moving using Lionel Legacy.
I'll break it down for us while he's getting that going. So we have 2 trains on our elevated line tonight. One is the Union Pacific Heritage, Katy, like my shirt. That one is pulling a string of Chesapeake and Ohio coal cars and a Chesapeake and Ohio caboose. Why? Because the tonner was pulling those earlier. But
So we might swap them back and
We
run,
may.
run the tonner for a little bit.
And then we have the Norfolk Southern F units pulling the, what is it, the office train?
Yeah, the Office Car Special, OCS.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, the OCS. So there's 2 on the upper line. Main line, I don't know what switches you have thrown, so you're going to have to explain your main lines.
Well,
There's
I've
a
got,
lot going on
yeah,
here.
I've got 3 main lines here, and on the outside, I'm running the Nickel Plate Road 765 with a Pennsylvania Heritage unit on it. That's how it ran back in 2013 excursions. And sharing that same track is a auto rack and auto parts boxcar train. That's where the Norfolk and Western, ooh, just gotta make sure nothing's crashing.
I'm
That's
watching.
where the Norfolk and Western Heritage unit will be pulling that train. Track 2 here is a mixed freight. We've got the New York Central Heritage unit, which I recently acquired from Trains.com. That's Trains with a Z.
Trains with a Z. Kevin, I don't know if you're watching tonight, but yes,
Yes.
thank you for the partnership.
And on the inside, I'm calling this track 3. We've got my intermodal with a bunch of Atlas Gundersons and the Southern Heritage unit.
So many trains.
All right, I better speed mine up. You're moving at a pretty good pace.
I could slow it down. This layout is so huge, I wanted to make sure you're able to see the train.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, when it goes off camera, it's got a long way to go to get back around.
Those
So I picked up the
excursions.
speed a little bit so you can see it pass
There we
again.
go.
Then we'll get these mainline engines going. Also, if you're not aware of how Jason's signals operate, he has prototypical block signals. So when a train is occupying the block, it actually lights up red like it would in real life. When the train clears the block, the light changes from red to green. After seeing this, I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to add this to my layout.
Yeah, it was a daunting task because I've never done it before, but I watched so many guys wire them and they didn't quite work prototypically. I thought, is there any way that I could learn how to do this? And I'm not some electrical engineer. I am not an engineer by trade. It was just kind of
Well, now you're going to help me do mine.
just go at it and figure it out. And I mean, I did with K&R custom signals, some blocks, and I used some Z-Stuff relays, and the Atlas snap lock relays. I'm very pleased with those signals, and it adds a touch of realism to the layout that I'm very proud of. I really love that.
No, it's just so neat when I have some signals on my layout and I have some track activators, but to see them operate, and it actually, in a layout that is this large with this much activity, you can look at these signals and they help you just like in real life. Because
They
when the
really
train
do.
disappears under the table, if you have one that's like rocking and rolling and it heads towards that red signal,
Yeah.
you're going to crash.
Yeah, and it reminds me what position that switches are thrown to. So you're not kidding; they will crash. All right, here, let's move the 765. It's smoking like crazy.
There was a question from Rich Smith. How can I contact Chris? So Rich, if you're trying to get a hold of me, if you have an Instagram account, look up RBP Trains and we can connect there. Okay, that's the best way, because YouTube doesn't really give me an opportunity to do any sort of like direct messaging.
Yeah, and someone said they were shipped a broken crane from Trains.com, but they refunded him, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, one thing, and of course, I guess I'm going to get sales pitchy for Trains.com for a second, but one of the reasons that I like buying my vintage trains from Trains.com is because they will guarantee them. So like if you get something that is broken, you can either get a refund and ship it back, or you can ship it back and have it repaired. And they've done that before, not just for me, but for a lot of other folks. So it's great when you can buy something that might be more of an antique and still get support.
Yeah.
Like they are one of a kind when it comes to that. There we go, look at that. So this is the nickel plate 765, the newer version,
Yes.
MTH with
MTH.
whistle steam.
Proto 3.
Country Bunkers Trains did a video on this before you did.
Yes, he did, and actually Country Bunker, and I got to make sure that train's
Is
running.
that going to crash? It went in a red signal.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. But thank you. Country Bunker, if you are watching this, it was your 765 that inspired me to go get the one that I have. So thank you for posting that video. It immediately sold me on getting us that. It was that smoking whistle and the sound and the real whistle sounds that were in that thing.
Yes.
When I heard those sounds come through the computer, I'm like, I've seen the 765 a half dozen times, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the 765. I feel like I'm standing right next to it already.
They did a good job on that engine. That's one
They
I don't.
really did.
I don't have that in a collection, nor does my dad doesn't have it in his either.
Yeah. Here's our Norfolk
There's the
and
heritage
Western
unit that was
heritage
asked.
unit.
So hopefully you just saw that chugging by.
Yeah.
Pulling some massive box cars. These are the
Lionel. They're 89 foot, I believe, with the Lionel scale auto racks as well.
Yeah, that is one really cool looking train. And again, my first time in
Your
Detroit.
Katy is catching up to me. You might need to slow him down for a second.
We got a train race going on here. Apparently, I got it.
It's a great train race.
The Katy always wins.
Give me your microphone. We're done. We're done. The stream is over.
Oh, jeez. So,
I'm going to keep firing up some of these trains here.
all right, while we continue to get trains going, again, this is a layout that has 3 different levels, so the trains can move either on the top level isolated, and they'll just stay here, or they can take a grade and come down and transfer to the main level, where they can then run loops, or they can transfer again to the bottom level. So you could actually run a train, stage it under the layout, because Jason has an entire staging area too that you can see in the far side of the room. That's where the turntable is going to be. That's where the roundhouse is going to be. There's just a lot of things going on. So you could have a train start on the bottom, loop up the middle, then loop again up to the top. So it's like you would see it for a little bit, and then it'll disappear and come back. I just think that it creates this almost illusion of an entire journey through the layout.
Yeah. I think from start to finish, if the train's at the top and it travels the whole double reverse loop, I mean, it takes, if it's going 20 scale miles an hour, I mean, it can take 4 minutes.
You need to do an onboard video.
Oh, I'm going to. There's a GoPro on the way, so that
That's
I can.
gonna be
so
a lot of
So
fun.
I can throw a camera on the front, and you guys can see the route that the train takes when it does this double reverse loop.
Oh, Carmine. Carmine's offering to give me $10 if I can couple to the rear of the OCS while it's moving. What is that? It's like, oh gosh, what was that Denzel Washington movie?
Yeah, Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. All right, well, let's see if we can recreate it. No, I'm not gonna. If it was my train, it'd be one thing. But Train Man Dan, thank you. I respect your stuff. I'm not gonna mess with it. Carmine, you're
Was
hilarious.
that Train Man Dan who said to connect to the back of it?
No, it's Carmine.
Oh, okay.
Carmine.
I was gonna say like Daniel.
Oh gosh, Slagcat's asking if he has a bleep button for my mic. Now Slagcat, remember the toner. This is you, CNO, right? I see this engine and I thought of you, Slagcat. Being from the East Coast, the Chesapeake and Ohio is one of the most fascinating railroads for me. I love driving through the National Forest in West Virginia, along all those CNO main lines. It's like one of the areas of the country that feels like it wasn't touched by time, you know, like you're riding next to the same lines that an Allegheny would have pulled a bunch of coal cars. So, absolutely. Heckle and Jekyll. Which one of us becomes Mr. Hyde?
I'll let you decide, man.
Where's that Halloween mask you had?
Oh yeah.
So,
344 people watching right now. Pretty nice crowd tuning in tonight.
Real Toy Trains, thanks for joining us.
There we go.
Ah, we have a question. Are either of us planning on getting any subway trains?
Oh.
Now, so my layout, I guess if I were to do subway, it would just be sort of to showcase the subway. I do think they have some really interesting features
I
with the
think
doors.
My stream looks like it froze. Is yours still going?
Yeah, we're still going.
Oh, okay.
We're still going.
It's just my computer then.
It's just your computer. But, you know, I'm not sure.
Oh no,
Maybe.
some other people say it froze. I think maybe. Let's see what happened. Oh, there we go. We might have to take the mics off because the battery's getting low. There, I just unfroze it.
Got it. Okay.
So 1 hour, we got down to 20% battery already.
Wow.
So we're gonna need to plug in We'll have to plug in the power cable
All right.
in a minute.
So we'll stop the trains.
Yeah, we can stop the trains. I say we can run the trains for a little bit longer. We can stop them, do some questions, and if you want to put the little tonner on there, we could do that.
Sounds good. I stopped the Katy just to get the noise down because you got to switch to the other mic. Is that what you got to do?
Okay. No, we won't do it just yet.
Okay.
We'll do it in a minute.
All right, I'll come this way. I'm a live stream novice, Jason. I've never done one on live stream.
Well, everything was going really well, so.
Good. All right.
And if you're never going to have a perfect one, I'll
Yeah.
tell you that. There's always going to be something that goes wrong. Something will crash or
Oh, good.
break or,
All right. We're unfrozen all as well. Okay. Perfect. Oh, so, great. Gray says, Jason, where are your BNSF engines?
They're all on the shelves, man.
There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
They're right here on the shelves.
You know, I ran them for a long time. I just decided to give them a break, you know. I ran them in my last live stream. I wanted to change it up a little bit.
No, yeah, it's all good. Definitely it's those times to do it. Oh, the NS Marist SD42. Oh, I have a question. RBP, Norfolk Southern or BNSF? Boy, that's putting me on the spot. It's put me on the spot.
There is a right answer.
So, that's tough. That's tough for me. I would have to say, on the East Coast, I do see NS as part of my daily routine. So, I do enjoy the fact that that's one I get to see more often. But I have BNSF. I really enjoy Santa Fe Railroad. Actually, some of my favorite engines are my SD42s, Santa Fe's. Haven't run them in a long time. I got to get those out. So I guess I'm being too political here, and I'm not going to be able to give you an answer.
Yeah.
I like both. Sorry.
You know, nowadays, I'm not sure. I think I might even say BNSF because I've just heard some horror stories about Norfolk Southern lately.
Oh,
I have my friend Ryan Harder to thank for that. But that's okay because my era ends in 2015 officially. So that's when once Wick Mormon retired as being CEO from Norfolk Southern, that's when I say the whole thing went to crap, and so I just model up to 2015. That's the golden era.
I don't know anything about the business side. I don't know. All right, did I miss a question here? Before we pop into this.
Paul Alexander says the show needs more Norfolk Southern. I agree.
It's like this layout's like more cowbell, you know?
Yeah.
We're playing the heck out of the thing, and we need more.
You always need more. I agree.
DNH. Wow, folks, you just heard Jason say BNSF. Yep. Oh, Carmine is disappointed that the Pet Shop Express didn't make an appearance. Now, I need to put some context here because not everyone might understand what we're talking about. So, I have a set at my house. It's a Lionel Lion Chief set. And it's actually one of my daughter's sets, but maybe you could argue that it's my set because I have just as much fun with it as she does. And it's a little pink train, and it's called the Pet Shop Express. They had the Pet Shop Express, and then they did the Dinosaur Express. So much like in the 50s where they had the girls' train and the other stuff, that history repeated itself, and they had the Pet Shop Express and the Dinosaur Express. Anyway, the Pet Shop Express travels very well. It's a very durable little plastic engine with a very durable remote. So I often take it to our train meets. And it's just kind of funny to see all this amazing scale stuff and then a little Pet Shop Express.
Well, you'll have to come back sometime. You can drive out here sometime or give it to somebody else who's driving out here and they can...
Right.
We gotta get it out here somehow.
It will. We'll get it out. I was so afraid that it might get confiscated at the airport. And like, there's no way I could go home and break it to my daughter.
Yeah.
You know, where's my pink train, Daddy? Sorry, it's the government has it. So
yeah,
I didn't want to risk that.
Charlie Stoya says I need more Grand Trunk on the layout. He's a big Grand Trunk
Grand
guy.
Trunk would be really neat.
I mean, it goes through. I live in Royal Oak, Michigan, and Grand Trunk used to go right through here, so it only makes sense.
Yeah, I actually would really like to find a Grand Trunk engine for my collection, and almost did. Train World had stock of these things. And then just like, it was like overnight, they were just all gone. Yeah. Somebody must have gotten on a kick.
Way to go. That's
but
what
they
happens.
were great, and I missed it.
Yeah.
But they'll come out again.
So someone asked me what issue of Classic Toy Trains I was in. I was in March 2021.
Yes, March 2021. Look for the red Santa Fe on. It was not a Norfolk Southern on the cover.
Yeah.
So this is Jason in disguise.
Yes.
But
And
if
what issue will you be in?
so if this is
February or March?
If this is March 2021, they just did January. Do they skip February and then go to March?
I think so. We might
think
be the same month.
I think I'll be the same month 1 year
22.
later. Yeah. If you're not subscribed, you can subscribe to the magazine and get all the back issues. It's not expensive to subscribe to the magazine at all. So
Someone said that TSA should have no problem with you taking your new little engine on there.
I'm so happy.
That means
All
you
right.
can bring the Pet Shop Express next time.
So next time the Pet Shop Express will come. Thank you for clarifying that.
Trainman Dan is telling me I need to put 6 more engines on my intermodal train so that I'm running a 10 engine lash up. I don't think that's happening tonight, Dan. I know you've been asking for it for like months now, but
what's incredible is that all these engines are running, but we're pulling a very nominal amount of amps, so nothing crazy. I always find the amps spike if you're pull vintage passenger cars with incandescent lights. Forget it. That'll cook the transformer faster than anything else. Yeah.
oh man.
All right. So, did we miss anything else?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff here. It's just hard to keep up with it all.
Why didn't you manage that? Here, I can look at mine.
I might, let's see here. I'm trying to think what we can do.
Bob Ozark. He was in CTT back in January of 2015. Fantastic, Bob.
okay.
I'll check that out. I'm always looking for back issues to go after. It's always great when you hear someone you know. I know a lot of folks who have layouts have been featured. There's a lot of fantastic, huge layouts out there. All right, now we're asked, what do you think about the new Bluetooth command system? So, obviously, the new command system can do Bluetooth, but it's also just going to be straight Wi-Fi. So, the way that I think I'm going to approach it myself is that if you still have a remote, like this Cab 2 or Cab 1 or Cab 1L, that'll probably still be my go-to user experience. But I do have an iPad in my home that I don't use for much of anything other than some Netflix here and there. I think I'm going to dedicate that to my layout. I think that's going to be the best experience because, you know this, you use a phone, you're running your trains and someone calls you, or the phone goes to sleep, or then as soon as you're on the phone,
Now what do I do?
as soon as your phone is on a call, your trains want to crash, and then rather than getting back to the app, you're pulling your power down, right? So I think the way we should look at it is have a dedicated user interface or dedicated tablet, just like
what I'm doing.
just like he has with this.
I have a
this phone here.
dedicated phone just for the trains.
And that's actually maybe even a better idea. Think about when you go back to your cell phone carrier and you get a new phone. A lot of times you take your old phone home and it's just a brick, right? It doesn't do much of anything. That's a great second life for your phone is to run your
That's
trains.
exactly what this is. This is an old iPhone 6, and I just kept turning on to Wi-Fi, connected to the DCS, and it's good to go.
Yeah. So that was 2-minute tips from Jason and Chris.
That's right.
2-minute tips.
And my only complaint is that with touchscreens, as easy as this makes everything, once the trains are running, you're staring at your phone so much. You lose the tactile function. And I'm hearing rumors that MTH might be making a new remote system that combines the two. Maybe Lionel will do the same someday. Because I feel like the best of both worlds, you could combine them into one unit where you have touchscreen functions and you can still have the tactile feel of the remote. So you can not be looking down all the time and running your trains.
Somebody asked if Jason actually knows how to use the Legacy remote. So give the whistle a toot toot. See, he didn't even flinch. He knew exactly what to do.
Oh yeah.
Seasoned pro.
Behind the back.
I saw one comment here about MTH is better even if it's closed. So MTH is not closed. I want to make sure that there's no rumor mill here. MTH is still doing well. In fact, what I just experienced the other day was I needed to buy a replacement thumb wheel for my DCS remote, and I went to their new parts site, ordered my thumb wheel, 2 days. It was at my doorstep.
Nice.
So if you are looking for parts, the stock is growing. I had 2 engines repaired recently that had headlights that were out. Had them back in less than a week. My local shop did it. parts were readily available, it's looking really good. And I think there's a lot of excitement now around their new controller. I think they're doing some software investments. I think we'll see more models coming after that. You got to think, it's a weird time for getting products. MTH had a shakeup, and now they're kind of restructuring. Lionel just kind of kept producing catalogs. It's more of simple supply chain math. You know, I think we're going to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I continue to invest in MTH. I know we make a lot of jokes here just because I'm around so much
It's
of
me.
but MTH is a phenomenal product.
Yeah.
And I will continue to be collecting that.
Yeah.
So,
Someone asked if I had any CSX engines on the layout.
there's no CSX here. You do
No.
have a Chesapeake in Ohio.
That's about
GT.
as close as we're gonna get.
It is, yeah.
I might do a CSX like GP38 or a GP40 someday. Maybe. We'll see. Should we put that on, do you think, instead of the should we swap that on from the Katy?
You can. I can put it on there.
All right, well, and I'll slow down some trains. I'll
Okay.
charge up our phone so we don't lose the stream.
Let's do that.
It might sacrifice some audio, but I think it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
So I'll do
Go
a
ahead.
little.
Why don't you get your train slowed down first?
Yeah.
We can do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick crew change here. We're going to swap out and put this 44 tonner on. Again, little engine, but it's got great pulling power. It has a really neat sound set too. And they made these in a lot of different road names. I just happened to find a Chesapeake in Ohio. Hadn't seen one of these. I didn't know any more were left, so it was really, really cool to get this little one. I think it'd be kind of fun to run that next to the Docksider. Those two little engines like running around the track together. Here's our massive auto rack train coming by. Have our engines up top. I'll grab this Legacy remote.
Oh yeah. We'll stop the Katy over there so that we can see that little guy get swapped onto the layout.
Sounds good. Yeah, so we'll come across the bridge. My favorite scene on Jason's layout are these dual really, really cool. Especially when you see like these long trains go through them. So our 765 is stopping. Oh, question, have I ever been to Just Trains in Delaware? Actually, if you watch my York video, there is a Commodore Vanderbilt Rail King. It was pink for breast cancer awareness. I got that from Just Trains in Delaware. They had a great booth at York. Great people. It's great to meet them. Yellow Belly is telling me that if I have trouble deciding what train to get next, I should hold a YouTube poll. Well, you know,
there's an idea.
actually wouldn't be a bad idea. That could be something fun. The viewer's choice on the engine. All right, hang on. Here comes my train. I don't want to miss my opportunity here.
We're about to lose our nice microphones for a second. Alright, so our audio might have just gotten a lot worse for our audience, but
I just have to slide in.
yeah, we just have to get a little closer. There we go. Stop there for a minute.
All right, trains are stopping, adjusting here. No production crew. This is a self-made show here, for better or for worse. Oh, that's really cool. So X-Cool Productions lives really close to Just Trains. I bet that's neat to go into that shop. Oh, good, nice and loud now. Hopefully it's not overbearing. Hopefully everyone can hear. Oh, they say it sounds louder.
Oh.
All right, yes, patio chairs in the basement. Yes, it's what, 18 degrees outside and snowy here?
Oh yeah, you want to go outside instead?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah, this is nice and comfy. It makes us a little taller too.
Oh, good. They said it made it better. Great. All right. So that's something we can do.
Okay.
I'm going to unclip this mic and I will switch that train out. We'll probably, I don't know if we can run all the trains, but the speakerphone mic
Well,
will do.
we can give it a try. That's my only concern is once all the trains are running again, is might not be able to hear anybody talk and.
Right.
But
It gets very loud in this plywood paradise.
yeah, we'll give it a go though. We'll start running on the top loop. Power is off already, so you're good to swap that off. And once you're ready, we can give it some more power. Excuse me. Yeah, see, someone says that they like the chair.
It's a comfortable chair.
Yeah, and someone's laughing at your comment about a plywood paradise. It really is a plywood paradise. Hopefully within the next year, it's no longer a plywood paradise. But yeah, show everybody this beautiful train that Trainman Dan let us borrow.
So again, this is the Lionel version, Lionel Legacy Heritage Unit, UP 1870, in the Katy scheme. So really, really fun engine. Just a really impressive paint scheme. I really like the star on the front, and of course that classic MKT logo on the side. So yeah, if you're seeing this, these are one of the harder of the heritage units to find, but you can occasionally come across them. So
those trucks almost look glittery.
Yeah, it's
they're
very
sparkling
shiny.
so much.
Very shiny.
Yeah, everyone likes some shiny. Someone asked if either one of us have operating accessories on our layout. Do you? I don't know if you have any on yours. Do you have any animated accessories?
I have. There's a K-line dairy building, but it's not hooked up. The only other operating accessories would be like some crossing gates I have that go down.
Yeah.
But I don't have any like the classic operating accessories, like any of the like the post-war culvert loaders or anything like that. Dad has the operating gate man.
Oh, that's a classic.
Which is it's the go-to accessory.
Oh,
the little shanty where the guy just comes flying out.
I've got one, and it's from the old layout that some people might recognize. This is a K-line accessory. This is a real operating water stream, and this little fisherman guy leans back and pulls the fish out of the water.
That's awesome. So I didn't know that it did that.
This was on the old layout, and I brought it up here, and I intend to find a place for it on this layout. So
you're going to have to build the water feature under that then.
It might go under the bridge. We'll see.
It would look neat. It would look really cool.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of mountains, so I'll find somewhere to put this thing.
Yeah, I think operating accessories. I know Dad has a post-war section of his layout. He's looking to add some more there. They're kind of cool. There's some really neat buildings. Actually, I think it was an MTH or maybe a Lionel building that had like the conveyor belt. That's really a really neat building. I just don't have any space for it on my layout. On Jason's layout, he could put like 6 of them in a row. You could put the big MTH McDonald's drive-through.
I could make a whole parking lot for it too. I could have a whole fast food paradise on the upper level. That's a good idea. Someone's asking why do I don't know if it's directed at me or at you, but it said, why do you think your YouTube channel has gotten so popular? I just assume it's directed towards you because you've blown up so quickly in the last year.
I think everybody has just been. I think it's as TV is shifting to online, more and more people are watching online. So as the interest in the hobby continues to grow, I think more people are watching more O-Gauge channels.
Definitely. I think it's a fun, refreshing format. I think you're bringing too. It's very entertaining and a different take than what maybe people are used to, even with watching my stuff. I think it's refreshing. It's refreshing for the hobby to have something like that.
Well, and I think what's nice is that it's fun to run lots of different types of trains. So maybe if you are more of an MPC collector, I really enjoy the MPC era. So it's nice to run trains from different eras and kind of blend them together. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, even these models, these high-end models with all these features. It's a toy train.
Yeah.
Just like the post-war engine we pulled down.
Yep.
And I think I like to try to keep the play value of it, right? These things are really fun. They're amazing to see. They're huge and they're loud. And it's just, I like to kind of celebrate them as we go.
Yeah, I mean, my channel has experienced some decent growth in the last couple of years, and I think it's mostly part to I'm building a new layout, and I think people enjoy watching layouts being built. They watched me build an old one as YouTube was still kind of early, so like I've been around for a long time, but it's until
2009 Jason started.
Yeah, but until I started building this one, I wasn't crazy growth on YouTube or anything, but I do think people they've seen this basement go from being a bare, unfinished basement with concrete walls and no carpet and bare ceilings to what it is now. And I mean, it's still a work in progress, but people have gotten to follow every step of the way. And I think when you watch someone do that, you feel, kind of pulled into what they're doing. You feel like, maybe you're in the same stage as that person. Sure. Like, oh yeah, I'm just starting to build a layout as well and trying to figure out my bench work. And here's a guy who's doing it, and now he's got plywood, and now he's got track.
And you show the big picture. I think that's what helps. Like, if I could go back and revisit the time that I put into the bench work and that side of it, there are other things that you considered And when you look at any of, let's call them like the great layouts, right? The layouts that you would see featured in a TM, like a TM, or something that'd be in like the Smithsonian. The ceiling in this room has been blacked out. There's track lighting. That is 50% of the entire scene, is how you light the layout. And one of the early challenges I found on my own when I made these YouTube videos was lighting it. It was very challenging. And here I can flip on switches and your whole layout is lit so well.
It makes such a big difference. When I was filming my old layout on YouTube, there was maybe 2 spots on the entire layout that I got really good lighting, that I could take a shot and I knew it would capture the train really well.
Right.
Everything else was just kind of a dark, shadowy, it was tough to get any kind of good shot. And then when I moved here and I got to meet some people like, Charlie Stoya, and I got to see Norm Charbonneau's layout and a few others, and they all had wonderful canned lights and track lights with more lamps than you might ever think you would need. And that's the difference. It makes taking a photo or taking a video so much easier. You can take one from any angle. The quality comes out well. And it makes it much more enjoyable for you to watch it in person and for people on YouTube to watch.
And it's not hard to do. I think that's the other thing, is that this is an unfinished ceiling basement. I mean, basement ceiling.
Yeah, it's open ceiling.
It's open. So a lot of people that might like, my particular room was already drywalled when I moved in, but a lot of us when we're building layouts, maybe it's in an open room and we have ceiling like this. It's really easy to spray this out like Jason did. What, did we freeze again?
It did for a second. It's back.
We're good?
Yep.
We're good? So I'm talking about spray painting the ceiling. So it's not difficult to do. It's not like the paint is very expensive or anything, and then you can spray it, and then you have this nice, it's no longer a distraction. Your eye just naturally goes past it and looks at the train.
Yeah,
so
you don't look there, it frames the layout, and especially once there's a backdrop up here and it's all blended in and it ends at a black ceiling, it'll be like you're looking into a picture or a diorama. That's the plan anyway. Someone asked me how many engines we have. I don't know how many engines you have in your collection.
I have no idea.
And I'm not sure how many I have in my collection. I think it's...
You have quite a few down here. There's a lot.
60, 70? I don't know the last time I did a count.
You have a lot down here. Yeah, I'm not sure how many I have. I have to kind of go through and count them out. I'm seeing lots of comments about the big boy. Should I just go grab it?
Oh boy.
Should I go grab it?
Grab it, or should I run it? Well,
can you get it out from over there?
I can get it out.
You want to just bring it over here and put it on the track and replace your...
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
That's a good idea. I'll do that.
All right.
Talk to the people while I do that.
This is going to be great. So we're going to go grab the Restoration Big Boy, which is Jason's really awesome MTH Premier PS3 high gloss version of the Union Pacific 4014. So we're going to watch that engine go around the layout. It is a mammoth engine. A lot of fun to run. I'm going to just grab the computer and take a peek here at the chat. Or my phone here. So yeah, that's coming. So we have some folks that are working on, yes, Union Pacific lineup. So the Union Pacific lineup is just going to be the big boy. I think you don't want to sit here and watch us pop off all these engines and reprogram a new lash up with Union Pacific. But I'm sure that Jason can follow up this video with one that is all UP. So the triplex, yeah, I heard someone say they want us to review the triplex. We have to find a triplex. I think Sid's on here. I'll borrow Sid's triplex and we'll do that.
There's a triplex at Stockyard Express today being repaired.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about that one earlier. So I think that we're going to be on for a little bit longer. I think our plan was to try to go about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours tops. So we'll get a couple more things running to wrap up the live stream tonight. But just want to take the time to thank everyone who took time out of your Saturday night to join us. This was a lot of fun. I think that getting out and being able to hang out with other people that are running trains and getting to see layouts is just it's a big joy for me. I haven't gotten to do it very much. First time on an airplane in like over 2 years, so it's been a really great time. This is a phenomenal layout. We're going to have 2 videos coming out this week. Jason's going to have a video about our visit to Stockyard Express, and I'm going to do a video about my visit here to Jason's house. So we're going to do a couple of fun things on the layout. We'll be pulling some train cars around with a couple of different engines. I'll kind of give a walkthrough of Jason's layout. Not that you need it from me, because you've already seen it from him. But I think it's just one of those things where the more you see how intricate this design is, I would suggest for anyone who is doing your own layout to really sit back and think about where you want your trains to go. I know that sounds kind of goofy because a lot of times our trains are running in a circle. But when you think about how these are running around multiple levels and they are switching back and then changing directions, you can create a very interesting cadence. And here it is, the big boy. And what I'm going to do, since I can go mobile with this phone, I'm going to do that. We're going to pop up and we're going to get a glamour shot.
Absolutely. Should have plenty of charge in there.
Sorry about the bounce for a second, folks.
Unacceptable.
All right. So this is an up-close shot of this 4014 Restoration big boy. I think that one of my favorite details on it is, of course, the homage to the person who wrote on the boiler, big boy. But this engine is super shiny. One of the things I will have to say is that these shiny engines are really difficult to keep clean. Jason's doing a great job of keeping this one dusted.
It's a challenge, let me tell you. I should be handling this thing with white gloves because you move it, like I just moved it, I probably put 10 fingerprints on it, but you shine it up with a nice cloth and gosh, it's the most impressive looking engine I think in my collection. It just has such a presence. It really does. Yeah, sorry for the loudness. My head was right by the microphone, so you probably just got like a death metal metal experience. Should I start it up? Oh, we're ready. Okay. Oh, somebody wants your aux tenders. I'll grab the aux tenders.
Here.
Put a couple drops of smoke fluid in here.
I'm going to move this chair. I'm trying to keep my hand nice and steady. I don't want to go Saving Private Ryan on everyone here, so we're going to try to be smooth.
Once again, don't drink this. Don't drink smoke fluid. It's a bad idea.
Even though cinnamon roll.
Cinnamon roll.
They're not scale fingerprints either. That one was funny.
I will say, this bottle of cinnamon roll is thanks to one of my biggest fans and my friend Robert Campbell. So, Bob Campbell, if you're watching, buddy, thank you for sending this to me. It's my favorite scent, and I've been putting it in all my trains. So, big thanks, bud.
Bob is the best. We're going to take a little walk. I'm going to show you. Lots of screens, lots of quality control that we're trying to put in place tonight. Walking over here. So, for those of you watching, if you're just joining, we are going to be watching his Union Pacific 4014. We're going to get that on the track. Here are the aux tenders that he's going to add in just a moment. This is his steam yard. So we have a couple of Hudsons over here. Of course, my favorite locomotive is a Hudson. We have an Allegheny. So, Slack Cat, here's your Allegheny. No, that's one of your favorites. Model Train Guy, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. We got the engine shed right here. And of course, beyond that, this is going to be where the roundhouse is going to be. So this is a massive turntable leading into the roundhouse base. So the roundhouse gets built on that base. That base serves as the blueprint for the entire roundhouse. Now, I don't have anything this cool on my layout, so I live vicariously through my train friends here. We're going to turn around and show you how this moves. You come out of this staging area, and even with the staging area on top, this will be part of the scenic part of the layout, but underneath, there's a massive area to stage more trains. It goes back there into that dark corner of the layout, and then it goes all the way back here down this wall and around. So you have all of this staging. And in O scale or any scale, having an opportunity to stage trains makes it a lot easier than taking things off the shelf. And of course, always having to do that. And Jason has plenty of shelves. Here's the shelf. So those of you looking for those BNSF engines, we were asked about that earlier, they're right up here. Some cool Amtraks right there too. All right, aux tenders are on, folks.
It's on.
Here we go.
Got no cars on, but
there's no cars, but
this is what happens when you throw something on quickly during a live stream. So.
Yes. And yes, don't drink the smoke fluid. Thanks, Ralph.
Smoking whistle's working well.
Here we go. You have to love those MTH smoke units. Look at that. such a massive, massive engine. I don't think I ever get tired of seeing this engine. So he's going to kick up the speed. We're going to have to wait a minute. Remember, this is a very large layout, so it's going to have to pop out the other side. You're going to see it beyond those intermodal cars. Stephen Williams, thank you so much for joining. Have a great evening. Where do we think the best place to buy the Restoration Big Boy is? Jason, can you get this engine anymore?
Oh, right now, if you find one of these Restoration Big Boys, you're probably going to find it on eBay or some other secondary marketplace, and you're probably going to pay top dollar. So I'd suggest when the Mike Wolf Big Boy comes out later this year, I would call whatever your close local dealer is, tell them that you want one now, because those Mike Wolf Big Boys will probably sell out immediately. It's worth every penny though. They're expensive, but they're worth it.
Yeah. Like anything, you know how it goes in O-Gauge, folks. If there's something you like, you kind of have to jump on it. Here we are. So now we're way over here again. Big Boy making the journey. Let's try to get it framed a little bit better. There's that articulation. Jason has huge curves, so his articulation looks a lot better than mine. But it's all good. What a beautiful train. Now we're going to head back this way again. Again, look at how that signal changed to green, but now it goes to red because the Big Boy is now inside the block. So just an incredible...
We got your 44 tonner on. Should I fire that thing up?
Do it.
And let people see that one for the first time?
Do it.
All right.
All right, here we go. This is my tonner. So we have a very large engine and a very small engine. So this is the new RBP Trains C&O GE 44 tonner. This is easily the smallest engine that I own, next to the Docksider. Let's hear him clicking noises, make sure we're good. Oh, the dog is back. Fantastic. Mr. Henry. All right, so here we go. Tonner's going to go get a little toot-toot. Isn't that great? The Husky stacks, Jason. What brand are your Husky stacks?
Those Husky stacks are made by Atlas, and the well cars are die cast, and those containers are pretty heavy plastic. That's by far the heaviest train I own. I run at least 3 engines to pull it. I know maybe 1 or 2 could do it, but they're just so heavy. I feel like I gotta throw a few extra engines on there. You think this,
so there you have
this little 44 tonner can do it?
I do. We're gonna find out. Here comes the Big Boy again. These are K&R signals, right?
K&R custom signals.
So they are custom signals. Yes, this is live. K&R signals, if you have not checked them out, they're 3D printed, great prices, and they work so well. Let's go check out my train over here. Here it is. Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna barely make it, so we're gonna have to come around the other side. Let's check out this Heritage unit. Jason has some impressive engines. This is probably one of my favorite diesel engines that Jason has, this Norfolk and Western Heritage unit. The little C&O that could. Someone asked if we recommend getting them on the MTH website. So the MTH website is going to be a great way to see if things are shipping or in stock, but you're going to want to contact a dealer. That's going to be your best bet. So there's a lot of great dealers out there that you can check. If you have a local shop, by all means. Local shop? Geez, voice is cracked. I must be talking too much.
We're just very excited.
Very excited.
Very excited. We've been talking a lot today. We were in a car for 5 hours together. We did a lot of talking.
Yes.
My voice is a little hoarse.
Way too much talking, and of course I can't do my normal editing, so You could hear all my ums and ahs and voice cracking.
I love the horn in this OCS.
Let's listen. So we have an ABBA unit here.
We gotta get that 44-tonner coming across the bridge.
Oh yeah, it's going to be coming. The RBP, smallest diesel ever. Getting ready to traverse. Model train guy, thank you again. What's our motivation behind making videos? For me, if you can hear me, because I have this big boy going underneath me right now. I really enjoy videography. It's been kind of fun to just make videos and share them. And here we go. Hold on. Here comes my engine. Oh yeah, look at that. The MTH GE 44 tonner. Do we own any brass trains? I have a third rail Yellowstone, which is a lot of fun. That is my only brass engine. Do I prefer steam or diesel? I prefer steam, but diesel is great too. RBP, how did I become a fan of the Katy? I actually was watching some of these specials that had come out years ago about the history of Lionel, and I got fascinated with the post-war era and the girls' train. And they had a boxcar that had the logo for the Katy. And when I saw that logo, I thought that was a really neat logo. And I was like, I need to make a shirt that has a train logo on it. So I picked the Katy. And I just started wearing it in my videos, and the rest kind of just sort of followed. So. Yes, I think K-line engines are good. Question about K-line engines.
Somebody asking what makes you want to make videos? Is that what it was?
Yeah, there was a question on why do we like to make videos?
Well, as a kid, I grew up really admiring TM books and videos and magazines and being inspired by other layouts, and I always just wanted to make my best attempt at doing something similar. And I thought it was a good way to get feedback and kind of see what people thought of what I was doing on my old channel. And it was a good way to document the progress. And as I've gotten older, I'll admit, I kind of missed doing some kind of, I don't want to say performance, but like being in front of camera or being in front of an audience. I've always done stuff like that. I always sang in choirs. I was in the marching band at Ohio State. I did a cappella groups. I really like performing, musical theater and stuff, and I don't really do that kind of stuff anymore. So doing this, I enjoy being in front of the camera, kind of talking to people, or like writing a script and kind of putting out a production. Like that's fun to me, and learning more about the filming and getting better at it every little bit. Like it's a fun process. It's a whole continuous process of getting better at some things. It's just there's a lot of satisfaction to it for me.
Indeed. We just got a comment that your audio is weak. That's probably because we have a whole bunch of trains going in the plywood paradise.
Yeah.
So
we can stop a few.
yeah, or turn some of the sound down perhaps.
Yeah, let me turn just about everything down.
We'll come back over this way. All right. We're going to flip the camera around and clip it back. Answer a couple of these other questions before we wrap up for the night. Sorry about the little jitter here. Clip.
Should we test the 44-tonner tonight, or should we put it in one of your videos?
We'll put it in the video for this week.
Put it in your video. We'll save that. I'm going to stop some trains. We can finish up asking, doing questions, and wrap up the night.
All right, back in the saddle. And I have a very eager Henry the pup wanting to get up here. All right, so a couple of questions. I'll catch up on some questions while Jason is stopping the train. So hopefully you can hear me. I'm gonna keep on keep on trying to shout at the camera while he's turning things down. What's my opinion of the Pioneer Zephyr? Awesome set. I don't have one. One day, I can only get so many trains at a time, but that's a great suggestion. That's probably something we'll see, hopefully this coming year. To the Mr. Rogers trolley. You know, I always thought it'd be kind of fun to do a trolley scene. One of the things I think is the most interesting out of the new catalog is the Trippy trolley. If you've seen the Trippy trolley, it's like a tie-dye trolley. It's in the new Lionel catalog. Oh, DIY and Digital Railroad, thanks so much for joining. I had my evening coffee before we got on the live stream. That's why I'm so wired. So I always enjoy your coffee and trains. I will sit down in the morning, crack my laptop.
Oh, is that DIY?
Yeah, DIY Digital.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
I love that channel.
It's Chris Italian. He's very fluent with talking with his hands. I do have Italian heritage, but I just talk with my hands a lot. I don't know why. I'm just always hyper.
All right.
Run the steel local. All right, so hopefully you can hear us crystal clear now. Everything is settled. The yards are quiet. The trains are sleeping. And of course, I have the big boy right next to me. It's just really cool because we really know how much I love big
And
sleep.
I have this big boy next to me.
And there's Henry again. You know what? I'll pop over so you can get a little closer.
Oh, all right.
The JDstucks Worldwide Studio, live from Detroit, Saturday night. Well, I think we are just about the end of the stream.
Yeah, I think so. That was we knew it would go by fast, but that was nearly 2 hours, I think, worth of
Thank you
talking
all.
and running trains. Oof.
Thank you all for listening to us banter. We're hoping to do this again, even though we had the opportunity to be side by side. There are awesome things like StreamYard and other technology.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to try to have Country Bunker on one of these in the
Oh,
future.
I'd love to.
So if that's something you want to see. Also, if you're interested in collaborating, hit us up. Jason has an Instagram at...
You can look up Jason's O-Gauge Trains. You could even type in JDstucks. Either one, you should find the Instagram page.
Yes, and I have an Instagram, which is just RBP Trains. So if you look that one up, feel free to contact us there. We can work to coordinate. So a couple of other... Oh, tell Jason we are Penn State.
Great. You're not our rivals. How many times? No. Sorry, Penn State. You're not our rivals.
Hey, Train Man, 1225. Thanks for joining. So,
Yeah.
closing thoughts.
Well, I say number one, I want to thank Chris for hopping on a plane and flying all the way to sunny Detroit in the middle of January to run trains and we've talked about this for months and it just couldn't happen and it almost seemed like it was never going to happen. And then out of nowhere you were like, hey, you think next weekend's going to work? And I'm like,
If my wife is still watching, thank you.
yeah, I think it might.
She sat down, she's like, remember that trip to Jason's house?
Yeah.
You need to take that.
That trip that never happened.
I guess you want to be out of the house.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to say big thanks to Chris for thank you for coming out here. It's been an absolute blast. Hanging out yesterday at the Detroit 3 Rails was so much fun. Hanging out in a car for 5 hours, going to Stockyard Express, it was a blast. And we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the last year. Chris is a great guy. He's doing awesome things in the YouTube community, and his channel I think is adding a lot of life to YouTube and to this hobby. And there's a good reason why your channel is growing so fast and is being so popular. And so thanks for all that you're doing for this hobby. It gets me excited, and I know it gets all the other viewers excited. So I appreciate you kind of collaborating with people and being so open-minded. And I think that's what it's about. If my closing thought is, we're not in this to try to, we're certainly not in it to try to make money. I mean, we're in this because we
Spend a lot.
yeah, there is no money. You spend all the money. I mean, we do this because I think we love the hobby, and we know there's a chance to build a great community. There's
Yes.
great people we've met, and it makes the hobby just a lot more fun when you have people to share it with and friends to meet, and you bounce ideas off each other, and then it grows the hobby. It's good for everyone, I think. So
I think the hobby is alive and well. And for me, Jason, thank you for all that. I'm sitting here next to the star. I never thought I would be sitting in the room with JDstucks himself. Like, if I could go back in time and like whisper into my ear, hey, you're going to meet him one day? Like, It's just a lot of fun. So
This guy.
again, I appreciate everyone who is watching this. And again, I will try to share a link to this. We'll have some videos coming up this week. Jason, thank you for hosting me here at your awesome layout.
My pleasure.
Taking me around town, all your train buds that are out here, and to everybody, you all have a great night, great weekend, happy Saturday.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.